Something I forgot to mention in the first video, let me show you one of the things you can use that database for outside of the application. Okay, so inside the application, I'll show you what I would use it for. So let's say that I'm not sure, and I don't know the name of the script per se. So a lot of times you hear a workshop script or scripts are being overwritten. I don't know which one it could be. So or let me rephrase it. I'm not sure which mod would inadvertently put a loose file into your game folder that would overwrite or would override a workshop script. So I don't know. I mean, there's many script files. I was taking a look here. If I go in and take a look at the workshop framework, which is here, and then what I did up here is I wanted to see the files that was inside of this BA2. And this is just, the only way that it knows how to parse this is there's a text file that defines what the file looks like. And there's a just generic parsing utility that says, okay, I've got this serialized data. How do I break it apart? You're going to have to tell me what is what, and then I will break it down for you. And that's basically what that does. And that allows that one function to work on all kinds of binary files. So in this case, I wanted to see a list of files that it has, and I took a look at I took a look at the actual BA2, and it's to me it's much more simple. It's much more. It seems to be a better and more easy to manage file format than the BSA file format that you would see in a previous Bethesda game, a quote younger Bethesda game, where this is more of a more modern, or an older Bethesda game is probably a better way to put it. So if I wanted to find, let's say, if I knew which one of these was the offending script, I could take a look, let's say, at this one. I could go over to here, and I could say, okay, I need to know which mods has workshop script PEX, because PEX is the Papyrus executable, P for Papyrus, EX for executable. And then you'll see the PSC, which is Papyrus with the P for Papyrus, the SC for source code. The game engine uses the executable. So I'm going to look for workshop script.pex. And you can even do this if you want to look up interfaces. Like sometimes I'll forget, like, oh my gosh, I got this mod that I totally installed. I forgot where it came from. Which mod was it? And it'll show you a whole bunch of mods that actually has this file in it. So this is going to bring up a list of offending programs, or programs that could put that file in your game. Okay, so, and because I looked up workshop, script PEX, it's going to bring up, it does a find on the file names, so it's going to bring up every file name that has that in it, and that allows me to do partial name searches. So if you don't know the full name, you could just type in script.pex, and and it would bring up a whole bunch of stuff. But here you can see all the mods, and of course there's workshop framework that has that in it. And then I could say, oh, I want to put Raiders and mobile happiness fixes. Well, if I do a little bit of quick research, I can say, that's going to override a workshop framework file, and that may not be a good idea. I mean, you could look at, there's other ways to look at it, but this is before you actually install it. And with the functions, it wouldn't be too hard to say, all right, I want you to, like, in a sense, show me a list of files of what is going to overlap, what is going to conflict. You could do that as well. That bit of code is not in here yet, and that will not be very difficult at all to code. Trust me, it would be incredibly fast, since everything is in there that I need and I know where to get it. But yeah, so you could do that. You could take a look at manifests, and I'm sure all mod managers have something very similar They'll tell you. I just this is just the way I do it. It'll tell you if it replaced a file, so that means it was overwritten. And I don't know if I have this fully working, but you might be able to do show conflicts. Let's see. Let's see if this even works. Okay, so it pops back to the code because this is where I go into the debugging of it. But you can see where during the course of my load order, that file gets overridden in a bunch of these things. This is the last one. This would be, that would be workshop DLC or something, and then somehow it gets overwritten in auto mines. Now, usually a plus means that, usually this means that it's yet to be installed, but I'm pretty sure it's just where I put little images here, and it's probably something I need to update. It's kind of tricky. The conditionals are tricky to get it to work in all instances, given the fact it's reentrant in from many different angles, many different paths into that function. But that's just one kind of use of it. I just wanted to show you how you could use it, and you could do the same thing over here, where we did workshop script. Well, I kind of let me see here. I kind of went in and removed it because it was big. It had like 8 million lines in it. Like, it has like 8 million lines. And there's even a way you can compress this. It's got 8,302,000 lines, and it's going to keep getting bigger. There is some data. I could probably index this, since this is a very common throughout the whole database. So I can index this and give it like an index. So I could actually have an index section up at the top, and then if there's like a I don't know, %1, then I'm going to insert index 1, and that would greatly decrease the size of this file. You can then compress it, use zip to compress it, or 7z to compress it, and it would be even smaller. But we could do like we could find like a, I think it was workshop script dot pex. And then, see, you can do the same thing here, and this will tell you which mods would have it in it. So this way, if somebody says, hey, I've got, and there's even, let me think about this. There's a reverse. There's 3 different databases. One's a reverse lookup, but I think that's for plugins. So the question would be, how would you go in, if somebody says, I've got this plugin, this is my load order, how would I know which ones could cause a problem? If you know you have this list, then if any of the plugins link back to one of these mods, then you know that that would be the offending mod, that plugin would be part of a mod that can cause a problem. The only difference would be is if different versions of the mod would have, like one version of the mod would have, like version 1.0 might not have the file, but version 1.1 does. And they throw up the ESP, but it doesn't really say that it's version 1.0. It doesn't tell you which version it is. So in that case, it can be hit or miss, but it would still give them a way to look at what could potentially be causing the problem. So I just wanted to kind of toss that in. I didn't think of it in the first video, so I hope that helps, and good luck with it. And like I say, if you need anything else, just give me a holler.